Most coaches think that their biggest cost is ads, but it's not. It's the wrong people booking in their calendar. People who are never going to buy, people who aren't ready, and people who shouldn't have booked a call in the first place. In the next few minutes, I'll show you why this happens, what it's really costing you in time, energy, and payroll, and how to fix it without increasing your ad spend or hiring more sales staff. This is the exact system that I use to protect my own calendar, and it's what you're about to see now. Welcome. This won't be a long video, and it will probably feel very different from most online sales experiences you've had. There are no 60 minutes of teaching with a 30-minute pitch. What I'll show you is a simple change to your sales flow that removes wasted calls that drain time, energy, and resources. At the end, you'll get a link to try out the tool that I've created that protects your calendar to see if it fits your business. From there, you'll get a clear next step if you wish to move forward. Here's a quick context so you know where this is coming from. My name's David Cowan, and before anything else, I was an accountant. So I'm trained to spot where money leaks, especially the expenses that businesses accept as normal. I spent over 5 years as a copywriter working with high-ticket coaches who sell through calls and crafted the marketing that helped fill calendars. Before I became a copywriter, I had a stint setting appointments and closing high-ticket offers. So what you'll discover today came from seeing the problem from 3 different angles: the money side, the marketing side, and the sales process itself. Not long after I started in sales, I noticed a pattern on my own sales calls, and I started paying attention to who was actually booking them. And what I saw was simple. Almost everyone who books a call falls into one of 3 buckets. The first bucket is what I call tourists. They're curious, they're just looking, they want help, just not now. These people never bought, no matter how good the call was. Now, these weren't failed sales calls, they were never sales opportunities to begin with. The second bucket is the most common and the most expensive. These people have a real problem, but they're not ready for a high-ticket solution just yet. They don't have urgency. They haven't been on their journey long enough to have any momentum, and what they actually need is a lower ticket step, not a sales call. These calls feel heavy because you're trying to sell step 10 to someone who's only on step 1, 2, or 3. The third bucket is small, but obvious in hindsight. They show up on time, they ask great questions, they're motivated action takers who know what they want. They're the people who actually buy, and they almost never look like the rest. Because prospects aren't sorted well enough before the call, most sales systems treat all 3 buckets the same. All prospects see the same calendar, have the same call, hear the same pitch, and that's where waste comes in. Once you see the buckets, you stop asking, how do I close better? And you start asking, why are all 3 buckets reaching my calendar when only prospects in bucket 3 should? And that's why fixing the call never works. You have to fix who's allowed on the call. This is built for coaches who sell premium programs through calls, especially business and personal development. But it also fits adjacent categories like marketing, sales, leadership, and performance coaching. If you're doing sales calls, you're paying a tax. Whether you see it or not, wasted time and energy, endless follow-up, no-shows, and bad fit conversations. Traditionally, the goal has always been have as many calls as possible, when the real goal should be fewer calls, but calls that are actually worth having. In most businesses, the sales call is based on hope. You hope they show up, you hope they're qualified, you hope they're ready, you hope they decide today. The call is expected to do everything: diagnose, qualify, persuade, and close all at once. And that's why calls feel long, heavy, and are unpredictable. And bad calls aren't neutral. No-shows, just exploring, price shock, missing decision makers, endless objections that are really confusion, reps over-explaining, discounting, or chasing. All of these cost time, money, attention, morale, and momentum. And even when sales is working, you're still paying for waste, either in payroll or your own or your team's energy. Now, this really hit me when I was closing for a company that taught musicians how to build an online business around their music. I remember how excited I was when I made my first sale on day 2. I also remember the number of people who showed up who were never going to buy. The people who wanted help with their DIY low-ticket offer. The people who weren't decision makers. And the people who didn't show up at all. And what bothered me was realizing how avoidable most of these calls were. I kept thinking, my calendar is full of people who I shouldn't have spoken to in the first place. I'd make so much more money for the company and myself if I could replace them with high-quality prospects. The problem was that the calendar was open to anyone, so everyone walked in, and I had to clean up the mess. So the question isn't, how do you make more calls? It's how do you stop taking calls that were never going to convert? Almost everyone thinks they pre-qualify their leads well, but the problem is they collect information instead of enforcing standards. If you do have a form, and the answer to one of the key questions is no, that call shouldn't happen, even if someone tries to book it anyway. Now that's not aggressive, that's how you protect time and conversion quality. So instead of fixing the call, we control who's allowed to have a call at all. In the new model, we replace call and hope with the mini-win experience, the calendar firewall, and only qualified prospects booking calls. When a call happens, it becomes a much higher chance of converting. And in some cases, the call could disappear entirely if you give them enough wins and clarity before they book. A mini-win experience is a short guided step or steps that give the prospect enough progress for them to become serious about your solutions. It's less about teaching and more about doing, and that's why challenges work so well. It's about them solving a series of small problems which helps them decide whether to move forward or not. Mini-wins work because they give prospects progress before commitment to anything bigger or more expensive. They move people from confusion to readiness, and once that shift happens, the next step stops feeling risky and feels more logical. When people have the right realization at the right moment and is shown a small, clear next step, decisions speed up. That's how sales cycles compress from weeks or months into days and sometimes hours. Most funnels push everyone through the same webinar and hope the sales call does the sorting. This system works differently. It helps prospects get clear on their problem, gives them real progress, and only offers calls to people who've earned them. Because when marketing is one size fits all, your calendar becomes a dumping ground. This is the calendar firewall. It doesn't just ask questions, it determines who's ready for a call and who isn't. If someone doesn't meet the standard, they never see the booking link. Bad fit prospects disappear before they hit the calendar and are either recommended a lower ticket item that fits their needs or given no recommendation at all. If somebody does get the booking link, they answer 3 to 5 qualifying questions before they book, and you decide whether to grant them a call or not. I package this into a system called the Sales Amplifier. It creates high quality leads, qualifies, and pre-sells before the call, replacing unnecessary high call volume with higher call standards. The lead magnet brings in the right people, the mini-win experience gives them quick progress, and the calendar firewall decides who gets a call. And the best part is, you don't need to overhaul your entire system or funnel to use this. You can install it in layers. Start with the calendar firewall and control who books a call. Then add the mini-win experience to give your current leads mini-wins so they're prepared for a sales call. Then add the lead magnet to improve who enters your ecosystem. The calendar firewall on its own makes sure only committed, good fit people reach your calendar, but there's a trade-off. Once you stop letting everyone in, you have fewer calls. And that's good because you're cutting waste, but that's only part of the equation. You don't just want fewer low-quality calls, you want more high-quality calls more often. And that must start the moment a lead enters your ecosystem. That's why I created this package as a bundle. The lead magnet and the mini-win experience increase the number of good fit prospects, and the calendar firewall makes sure only the right ones reach the calendar. It's a 3-part system that puts the power back in your hands. And if it removes even a handful of bad fit calls each month, it pays for itself in time, focus, and wasted payroll. AI won't replace coaches, but coaches who use AI as a system will outgrow those who don't. Most coaches use AI for content, blogs, and emails. You're about to use it to improve the way your business actually runs. Some may like to implement this themselves, some want it done for them, and some want it done with them. So if you think this could benefit your business, your only next step is to run the system fit decision engine below to see which build best suits your needs.